The first thing I immediately have to say is that this character stands up just like me trying to raid my fridge for any type of sustenance at like 3 a.m. So that's great.
Hello. Post-editing Kaida. I don't have much time, so I'll try to make this quick. While editing the video, I realized that it dragged on quite a bit. And so, considering that I never got to throw in any feedback within the playtest, I figured I would do it at the beginning of the video to save people some time. There are two huge pieces of feedback that I would like to address. The other sub points, or sub little feedback, whatever you want to call it, are things that can be fixed with the later builds. So those complaints, I'll keep it for after. However, the two big major feedbacks that I have are related to movement and chaos. So first with movement. The movement in this game is great.
You know, I can just.
It's phenomenal. I enjoy zipping around, going up, going down, going sideways with the little movement option that they give you. I forgot the name. While the movement is great, however, I think it can also be kind of like expanded upon and improved. So, for example, considering a similarity to Rise, when you're in the air in Rise and you do the same action, and for example, you throw like a bomb or something, right? What was normally a kind of like a stationary experience now becomes something that kind of like explodes instantly above a monster or something, right? The reason I'm pointing this out is because whenever you zip around in the air, there's not much use, or I feel like it's not being used to its fullest potential, because yeah, you zipped up into the air and you have that mobility option, which is phenomenal. You can also dash to cover more ground, but that's pretty much it. You can technically shoot and throw grenades and all that stuff, but I feel like if you could elaborate on that air movement, so maybe like adding animations for each, right? Maybe that's just a later build thing as well, right? You throw a grenade and it does like a single other action, or maybe you have the option to stomp on an enemy and get more airtime while in the air, right? Or something. But I feel like if they elaborated on both air and ground movement with how quick you already are, it could definitely be a lot more fun. The second one is more related to, as I mentioned previously, chaos. But not chaos from the enemies, but for chaos for the player. Now, what I mean by this, the items that we have right now, I feel like they're more tame than they could be. This game can get really chaotic with a lot of enemies, a lot of explosions going on, the mini bosses and all that stuff, and that's phenomenal.
Defeat Little Mac? What? Oh my god, the music. The music is going hog wild. What's going on? Oh no! No! That's. Oh god! No! No! Get away from me! Stop! I was not expecting boss fights.
But as a player, I would like to dish out the same amount of chaos. If the items or there were other means to deliver that amount of like randomness and craziness and all the stuff that roguelikes actually are known for, it would just skyrocket even further the experience. The best example I can put is Risk of Rain 2, one of my favorite roguelikes. The amount of items that you have is crazy, and naturally you don't need that many, but their effects lead to chaotic experiences where you're at the mercy of both randomness or the enemies are at your mercy because of the huge power fantasy that you suddenly have over them, because you gathered like a correct or a specific build of items. If they leaned more towards the chaos that the players can deal as well, I feel like it would be a lot more fun. The subplots for the feedback, I'll throw these out really quickly because I feel like they're going to be changed with the builds anyway. Naturally, placeholders and all that stuff that's going to be fixed later.
Kind of get acquainted with that is terrifying.
One of my biggest subpoints would be the enemies. The enemy variety is really fun, it's great, and I hope it changes through maps. However, my only complaint in that area is that the enemies don't have that much variety in terms of attack. The reason like Risk of Rain 2 simple enemies like the lizards are or can be really scary is because they have two attacks, one melee and one ranged. Meaning that even if they're far away from you, sure, they'll run at you, but you still have to keep yourself, on your toes. Another basic enemy in Risk Marine 2, I don't even know their names, but the stone guys. They hit really hard, can send you to the air, and they have a laser, so you have to deal with them. It's kind of like enemy priority. If you put those two enemies, the enemy that you're more likely gonna go first for is the stone guy, because he's essentially a sniper. I feel like that type of enemy priority is not in this game. Yeah, sure, you have ranged enemies and you have little enemies and all that stuff, but you're kind of just running away all the time and not trying to prioritize any particular enemy because of their moveset. So the basic enemies only have one attack, and that's just kind of to like hit you with their horns and stuff. And if you get too far away, they'll just teleport by like digging in the ground and spawning. Which sure, yeah, but there could be some improvement to like, I don't know, unhinge their horns and throw them out towards you so you have to dodge or something. I don't know. That sounds silly, but the whole point that I'm being is more variety to attacks leads to more kind of like moving around and engaging more within the battlefield that's provided for you. There's a few more things that I do have kind of like more feedback on, or they're revealed through my playthrough of the game. So anyway, thank you for letting me ramble on as long as I did. I'll see you guys within like 2.3 milliseconds.
So, this game is using 70% of my GPU, and that's without moving, which caps out my GPU at a wonderful 99%. So we're off to a phenomenal start. And honestly, I don't even know what to say. This is probably on me. This is most likely on me, rather. We're gonna have to do some stuff here. I think I figured it out. The whole problem was that it was taking a significant amount of my GPU. However, now it's kind of smooth, right? Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll figure that out later. The only thing I changed was the screen's resolution. And the graphics are still on high. So, that's good. It's probably because I'm in a training area, but it lacks recoil. So I can just kind of laser beam anything I want, really. But what I want to say is that so far, it seems like a total blast. I can see myself playing this game a lot. I think the events should have kind of a little bit more visibility in the map, because they tell you, hey, there's an event going on, right? And that's fine, but when you look around, it was a little bit more difficult for me to find it because of the heat of things that's going on, right? You're not going to be paying attention to like a single beam of light, or at least a white beam of light, while you're being chased around by like 300 enemies right behind you, right? One thing I don't see right now is kind of like controller support. For me, even as right now, I can't play on mouse and keyboard for too long because of the current setup that I have causes my hands hurt a lot. I think I've mentioned this before. So, I usually rather want to play games on my controller. So I hope that one, there's like controller support. Maybe I just haven't looked hard enough. And two, that the game eventually, when it releases, comes out on console, because I think that'd be great too. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's just the foundation of the game itself is fun. And if the foundation is fun, and if the devs kind of like go absolutely hog wild, I can see this being a really, really fun game that I would just put a lot of hours in.